Islam, Peace and Hotel, is on December 7th class, 2014. Want to say Islam to all the Moors worldwide that continue to learn more and more and more about their birthright, to see that this thing is a reality. This is not some fiction like all these other people out here claiming to have identities or whatever, but they can't prove it. But they can talk about it, but they can't prove it. Get some stuff out the way. This week, Saturday, I'm gonna be in Louisiana at the Nubian Cultural Outreach Center doing a lecture on who told you that you came here on a slave ship. So know that next week we're not gonna have any class next week online. We might see what happens. But this is going on next week, Saturday, and the 21st of December, right here at the Moorish Science Temple of America, Sister Sela Bay is going to be lecturing on the winter solstice and the science of the sun. So we're just going to get that on the record because of, the energy that's coming in right now. People are waking up to their nationality and birthrights at like alarming rate right now. So we're going to make sure that we continue to put the information out there so that people have it. We also want to put in the record, make sure you write to the family that's locked up. We got Debbie Sims Africa, the Move 9 family. She sent her mail to Canaanland Moors. So we just want to read her letter, get that on the record so you know what's going on, especially with everything that's going on in the news, etc. right now. Just so we're clear that no, this is nothing new. All killing people, shoot people in the street and all that, it's nothing new. Stuff that's been going on. And looking at it from that perspective, you can see why people that have nationalities are frustrated or whatever. They're opening up, saying that they're supporting things and, lying in the street, marching with these stupid people to try to get them to realize that, not everybody identifies themselves by colors, right? August 11, 2014, on the move. Just a short letter to keep you updated on the latest with Move and the parole issue. Despite the massive amount of support for the release of the Move 9 from community, from the press, from the prison officials, the parole board continues to keep Move in prison. The last clear example is the recent 2-year hit given to Debbie Africa by the parole board. Debbie has been recommended by the prison administration as well as Janine and Janet for the past 7 years, along with the rest of the men, yet the parole board still refuses to release any Move people from prison. This is outrageous. The parole board will tell you they are not retrying you at their interview, but then ask you everything about the crime in which you were already tried, convicted, and sentenced to prison for. What is the purpose of this? There is no excuse for this conduct from when it comes to Move 9. Move is not a threat to the community. Move is not a danger to the citizens of this city or no other city or state. Move people are not running around killing people, killing teenagers or children. Move people are not going around threatening people or terrorizing anybody. But the Philadelphia cops murdered 11 Move people, including 5 children, babies, on May 13th, 1985. And they have yet to even be arrested and spend a minute in jail for their crimes. Sound familiar? People getting shot up in the street, then they go indict people and whatever like that. Want so-called government to step in and do something about these so-called police that shooting people or whatever like that. Nothing happens, and then people just go march, picket, burn down their own stuff. um, burn down other people's stuff, and nobody goes and deals with the issue, which is these individuals who are abusing their so-called power that they have. Right? Nothing happens to them. Everything happens to innocent people. But these so-called people don't do anything, right? But lay down in the street and then get run over and then complain about that when they chose to go lie down in the street as a protest. And then they get run over and then they're complaining that they got run over, right? Peace, yo. This is kind of twisted, contradictory, double standard, and blatant disregard for life this system is based on, and this is why Move fights this system, because it ain't right. The system will tell you that we have the right to defend ourselves against an intruder coming at you with a gun. But if you do, you will go to prison for life, and the intruder will be set free if the intruder happens to be cops. A cop can kill somebody, claim they were serving a bench warrant, and get off scot-free because they are cops. This is what they did May 13th, 1985, when they not only killed 11 Move people, but bombed to death those 11 Move children. What is the difference in the victims of either of these families? What is the difference in the victim of a policeman and a victim of a person who was killed by a policeman? That they all bleed the same, no matter the color, race, creed, or class. It still hurts, right? So that was 85. So 2014 or whatever, she's still suffering from this abuse of power that's been going on, right? And people don't want to get the reality of what's going on. They want to keep playing the game that, you know, they could call themselves two continents, and they can call themselves adjectives, and people have to respect that position, right? When people don't have to respect that position, because that position is a fiction. So if 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 we really want to make the argument that whatever, the Moor shit doesn't work, but nobody who says that they're black or whatever that been shot up for how much ever years, fire hose, dogs sicked on them, or whatever like that, none of them could show me or find me a Moor anywhere on the planet, right, that got shot up by some police or whatever because he was just standing there. Nobody. Nobody could show me a Moor out there that stands up for their birthright, that knows what their birthright is, that hasn't had a one-on-one interaction with a so-called officer that got shot up. Nobody. You know, a couple might have got kidnapped or whatever, handcuffed, dragged on the ground or whatever like that. They might have got put in a cell for a month. They might have got sent to some mental institution or whatever, crazy people running around. But when they got rid of them in those institutions, jail, prison, or whatever, all of a sudden, all their stuff that they had them in there for disappeared. All their stuff. All their letters that whatever was telling them paid child support disappeared. All phone calls that they used to get from the child support lady, make sure you pay or whatever, no more calls. All the so-called tickets that they had on them because they were driving without a license, driving without this, driving without that, all stuff disappeared. And they're still alive to talk about it. Nobody shot up, no violence, no, because as Moors, our perspective is we expect that. We don't expect nothing less from these people. They're colonizers and mercenaries, highwaymen. These aren't people who, because they got shiny car or whatever, they got clean characters. These are some of the dirtiest people on the planet that say that they're government, that say that they're doctors, that say that they're politicians, that say that they're teachers, whatever. Some of those people are the nastiest people on the planet. And they know that. And they know that, we don't have anything else to do but be that. And again, go through history and you find out that, there's these Europeans that helped the black man get out of slavery or whatever. They risk their own life to make sure that black people don't go through slavery. Those guys aren't KKK or whatever. Those guys aren't people you be mad at or nothing like that, right? There's no need to have disagreement with them when they're openly admitting that they assisted people get out of slavery. And then there's these other ones that, people always seem to be button heads with, regardless of what their nationality is. And all these people that butt heads with these people always try to find a way to show that they're in solidarity with these so-called other people who don't have nationality or anything like that, and they're getting abused. And they don't want to put this thing together that people have been, constantly are, and are forever going to be at the assistance of so-called Negro black color, because everybody knows that they're stupid people. Everybody knows that they've been dumbed down. Everybody knows that their history only goes back to the 15th century because they call themselves black people. Everybody knows that they need the most assistance in whatever, anything, you name it, we need assistance in it. And then you have other nations who, they only been in Canada 10 years and they got their own community or whatever. And we don't have nothing yet. We talk about go march and go to Queen's Park or whatever like that. Marching for somebody getting shot up, not even where you live. No different than all these people, oh yeah, black president, they're driving to Washington or whatever, making gas companies rich, making rental companies rich, talking about they don't have nothing to do in their communities. They have no money to do nothing. We need to get the Koreans who are selling nails in the community, they need to donate some of their money to the black community because they're in the black community making money off black people and talking stupid shit like that. And really think people are supposed to respect their position. And all they do is complain about stuff. All they do is march, picket. You ask them their nationality, everybody's saying that they're something, whatever. But, solidarity for Ferguson came from Tokyo. They said Tokyo. Now the yellow people have solidarity with Ferguson, the Black Lives Matter. They said Tokyo. So they're putting their nationality on the record. That their nationality supports this stuff going on in Ferguson. Not their identity, how they look. Brazilians came out. They didn't say brown people in solidarity with Ferguson. They said Brazilian, which goes back to a nationality because there's a landmass called Brazil that those people come from. And those people who call themselves Brazilian look like some of us in here, and they don't call themselves black people. But nah, we're not going to go with that. We're not going to recognize that people have been telling us, not only, and don't forget that this is late that we're finding out. We should have been known this about we're Moors. This is not some new thing that, oh, wow, we found out we're Moors and let's get on this Moor bandwagon because, black bandwagon's getting us shot up. We're supposed to have been known this about that we're Moors. And people have been telling us. No, we don't want to hear that. We're going to listen to all these sellouts or whatever coming and telling us, capitalize the B, capitalize the N so we could be Negroes recognized by the government or whatever like that. When they already know that all that's a fraud. They're sitting there like, oh my gosh, what do we have to do? Okay, well, it's past the industrial age. So people who were considered slaves or whatever, they're not, we can't use them anymore because it's technological age right now, machines right now. Right? There's farmers losing their job because they have a machine that's 50 feet that could plow the field. You don't need one guy out there with a cow or whatever plowing nothing right now because it is technological age right now. So anything that's not technological is obsolete. Anything that's not lining itself up with technology is becoming obsolete. And what do you do with obsolete stuff? You have the dump right there, you throw stuff right there, you crush them down into whatever, and then you make some new stuff. Which is what's going on right now with these people's black identity. That it's getting put on the dump, and people are doing whatever they want to it. And they're still taking that position of, oh, somebody's racist against us, or you know, somebody did something and this person did it, and then nobody's not pointing at themselves saying, hold on a second. The Brazilians didn't say brown people, brown solidarity for Ferguson. The Asians didn't say yellow solidarity for Ferguson. How come they didn't say yellow solidarity? If blacks' identity, and that's what we are as a people, then other people should be that too. It shouldn't even be somebody sat there and made a sign or whatever, big sign or whatever, right? And they sat there and they painted Asian. They sat there and they painted Brazilian. They didn't identify anybody as a color. And over our head, as we listen to Al Sharpton and all these guys, CIA, FBI agents, we know that they're agents. Books on those people that they're agents. You still let those people come talk at mics and stuff like that on your behalf, right? People claiming that they're ambassadors of something and whatever like that, when their whole intention is to make sure, without a shadow of a doubt, that these people who are called Negro black colored people stay Negro black colored people forever. Forever. And don't ever, ever get out of that. Stay in that forever. And then you have, you know, our own people call themselves Hebrew Israelites or whatever like that, especially ones out here. And they're going to put up videos, talk about Canaanland Moors, this and that. Canaanland Moors don't answer questions. Why? We don't answer people's questions because as Moors, we know status is the first issue at law. If you don't have a status, shut the hell up. I don't need to talk to you personally because you don't have a status. I don't need to hear anything that you say because you don't have a status. More than likely, whatever that you say came from some European book that they claim is the devil, but then, you know, they're going to say that the Moors are following the devil because we got feathers. And the Moors are following the devil because we dress like pale Arabs. Yeah, well, you're using the Europeans' book or whatever as their position. So it's okay for them to use the devil stuff, but then when the Moors use the devil stuff, or you know, as soon as Moors talk about, oh yeah, well the 5-point star, you put that upside down, that's the Baphomet. That's our stuff. That's our star. That's the Moorish star. That's not the devil's people's star that we borrowed from them. That's the Moorish star that they took and put it upside down and made it Baphomet and said devil worship or whatever. That's why we say that Baphomet's our stuff. Because we know that the foundation of Baphomet, that's why Baphomet's sitting in meditation pose or whatever. He's going like this. And then there's the moon up there, and then there's the sun there, which is astrology. And then he has this, then he has the caduceus, which is the medical symbol with the snakes going up the staff, right? And then that's going up or whatever, and then he has a light down here, and then he has a light right here, and then that's the chakras, him lining up himself. That's not no devil worship. That's more science. But if they get everybody to believe, well, yeah, it's devil worship, then everybody's going to say, oh, that's devil worship, forget that, and then turn their back on their own culture and want to know how come they have problems, how come people shooting them up in the street. Because, you know, you don't honor Baphomet, who's studying more science, then...
I was going to say, you see all these people on Facebook complaining and marching about adjectives being shot and beat down by police, but all you have to do is read the first 2 paragraphs of the King Alfred Plan and see that they're implementing it right now. They're getting rid of their.
Since you brought it up.
They're getting rid of their problem. Their roach problem.
Since you brought it up.
People, they hear it, but I guess it's just like some fantasy or another thing that comes on Facebook. You can just, oh, this is more information, but that's real, and they're putting it down.
Right.
That's what you're seeing
it's
right now.
Real. Right.
That's what you're seeing.
It's real.
Right now.
Right. And again, it's not even the beginning because King Alfred plans from 60, right? So it's not like they haven't been told. It's not like the information's not out there to the people. It's accessible, but you know, mental slavery is going to have people do things and say things and act like the crazy people. That is what it is.
So you don't agree with how so-called black people react?
Yeah, it's
How do you think that it should?
well, I mean, you know, if we look at it from an emotional perspective, yeah, be mad, break stuff because you know what I mean. Like that's messed up. Guy was just walking in the street or whatever, shoot this guy for nothing, right? But you know, as soon as they put it out in the news, it was a black guy. How they connect that it was a black guy? Oh, because when they went in his pockets, he had a license or something like that, which the United States Census Bureau sanctions licenses. That's gonna make you check off black on there. So that's not anybody's error. That's that individual's error for Nobudrali told the Moors, and since 1913 that black means death. You don't call yourself death and then get shot up and ask yourself what happened? Calling yourself death. You checked it off yourself. Black. Okay, well, Nobudrali Ali told the Moors that black means death. According to science, black means death. 1913. So in 2014, you're calling yourself black. And you want to know how come black stuff, how come death is always following these people around? And they don't want to get it. They want to think that Moors are worshiping some guy. You know, Moors are, you know, misinterpreting the messages of this man that came because, you know, he studied from the Turks and he studied from, he stole the Europeans' book and all that stuff. Hey, they can believe that all they want. They guarantee they're going to keep getting shot up. And I guarantee they're never going to be able to find me a Moor that got shot up for going outside and buy Skittles or whatever like that, Arizona iced tea, you know, get stuffed in mats and all this type of stuff, right? You're not gonna find it until somebody could find me a Moor that got shot up or whatever. You better jump on Moor science because they don't shoot Moors up. They don't do what they're doing to black people to Moors. And if they do, and if they are doing to Moors what they do to black people, it's to intimidate black people to not be Moors. And that's the only reason why they do it. They're not doing it because Moors are wrong. No different than with the sister with the house thing. And everybody, oh, see, like, arrest Moors or whatever like that. They didn't charge her for stealing no house. But nobody doesn't want to talk about that. Nobody doesn't want to talk about, no, they never charge her for stealing a house. They never charge her for squatting. So that means that if the case is done, and she's doing time, and they didn't give her time for stealing or squatting, then that means there's no law called you can't steal or squat or whatever. But nobody's not going to go there. They're just going to dismiss Moors altogether, even though they didn't charge her for stealing a house. There's a European, Christopher Fleming Al, who claimed a house, same way that she did. A European. He won the case. Judge told the bank, whoever, that you guys are a fraud, this guy owns the house. The mercenaries, after the case, while he was at the house, came to him and told him, if you come to this house, we're going to kill you if you come to this house again. But he won, though. Beat the broker, whoever else that was claiming that that's their house because they have deed or whatever like that, right? They have title to the property and whatever. He beat their stuff because his title was allodio. His title was free of encumbrance. And the mercenaries personally went to him and said, we will kill you if you go into that house. But he won in court. Don't forget, he won in court. Case closed. House is yours, Mr. Fleming Al. You go to the house. No problem. Islam more. Right? Okay? And why he's not, why he's typing.